Good morning, Amy Sedlacek in the Fox 4 newsroom. We have some breaking news coming into our newsroom right now. We do have word that a small plane has crashed on the way to Page Field right near the Edison Mall. You're looking at live pictures of this plane crash. It's in the Iguanamia parking lot. We have photojournalist Jack Rous out there live at the scene. Jack, can you tell us what's going on out there?
I can't really tell what's going on from what I've seen so far. All we know is that the pilot is in fact alive. He did walk away from the accident, which appears to have happened, I guess, about 10 or 15 minutes ago now.
Do we know if their plane was having technical difficulties, mechanical problems? It looks like it actually crashed.
It did actually crash. Eyewitnesses on the scene are saying that the plane looked like it was having difficulty in flight. As far as what those kinds of difficulties were, we don't know at this time.
Jack, we're getting a great picture. Is there a way you can zoom out, pan around a little bit, show us more of the scene? Again, Page Field right near the Edison Mall. We know that plane was on the way to Page Field. We see Fort Myers police out there, EMS. Was anybody hurt when this plane crashed, Jack?
It doesn't appear that anyone was hurt, but of course there were folks in the parking lot. This is a busy area with a lot of folks, and I guess a lot of folks were scared by the amount of noise and amount of smoke that came from the plane when it did in fact crash.
Is there any concern about the fuel that is on that plane, the jet fuel or the fuel in the cars that it hit?
There doesn't appear to be any fuel spill visible, but there are, as you can see, workers on the scene. It looks like in some sort of special suit that if there was something that needed to be cleaned up or if there was a spark or anything happened, they appear to be prepared for it.
Hazmat apparently on the scene as well, as we see fire department, police department, EMS. We know this is in the Iguanamia's parking lot. Do they have the traffic? Is that area pretty much blocked off, Jack?
Absolutely. If you'd like, I can take a pan for you and show you that they've managed in the short amount of time since this has happened to report on the scene and block off the entire area so nothing can be compromised.
Do we know if traffic is open to the Edison Mall?
Absolutely. Traffic is still open. It's only a small section of the parking lot that's actually blocked off.
Any more word on anything? Actually, we are getting some more reports in. Again, you're looking live at a plane crash. This plane crashed right near the Edison Mall in the Iguanamia's parking lot. We do have a photojournalist on the scene. He has told us that traffic is open right now. We will have more information on this plane crash as more comes into our newsroom. Right now, we're going to send it back to programming.
That's what we heard.
This is what $1 million worth of HIV and anxiety drugs look like. There are about 1,000 bottles here and 22 different kinds of drugs. So why do the police have them? During a routine traffic stop of a commercial bus on Alligator Alley, the bus was pulled over for speeding. Once the officer boarded the bus, he noticed something suspicious, and that's when he called for a canine unit. 2 units arrived. One dog found this bag with about $126,000 inside and marijuana residue on it. The other dog smelled more residue on 2 more bags. Once the bags were removed, the troopers had their drugs.
It was unique in the sense that we've never seen a very drug specific like this. Usually it's controlled substances, that basically get you high. These are very specific with regards to their abilities for HIV victims.
Arrested were Oscar Omar Zabala and Juan Vasquez. Police say the 2 were on their way from New Jersey to Miami.
They don't have any real abuse potential on the street. There's nobody's going to take them to get high off of.
Richard Lawrence is a pharmacist at the Fort Myers prescription shop. He tells me the drugs were probably going to be sold on the black market because they are so costly. Lawrence says HIV drugs can cost anywhere from $300 up to $2,800.
I could see it where they would be stolen and then being resold for a fraction of that cost. Somebody on the black market then is making money.
Because AIDS is a big problem worldwide and there is a demand for these drugs at a cheaper price, Lawrence says, don't be surprised to see more busts like this. In Fort Myers, Donald Robinson, Fox 4 News.
It all started here at the Taco Bell on Cleveland Avenue at 2 this morning. Police say Monique Kaufman went through the drive-thru on her way home from work, and that's when her boyfriend, Ronnie Brown, smashed into her car, blocking her in. Police say he pulled out a gun and fired multiple shots into her car. Monique got hit several times, Brown took off, and Monique drove herself down the street to Lee Memorial Hospital. But that was only the beginning. A few hours later, around 5 this morning, police were called out to Brown's mother's home in Fort Myers. Someone set her car and her daughter's car on fire.
We just ran and went across the ditch, went to a friend's house in the back. Just got away from it because we thought the cars was going to blow up.
Police say they think the fires were set in retaliation. Kenya McCrae, Brown's sister, says she doesn't know anything about what happened this morning with her brother and his girlfriend, but now she's scared.
I really don't know what to say. I just wish they don't come back over here and throw nothing at the another car or the house. That's what I just hope.
This is the neighborhood Monique lives in. I talked to some of her neighbors today, and they say they don't know much about her. She pretty much just keeps to herself. Now, they say usually it's pretty quiet around here, but over the past few weeks, it's been anything but.
About 3 weeks ago, the police came and blocked off our road and said to go inside because they were afraid that her boyfriend had a key to her house and was in the house waiting for her. I guess she called him from work and said to come and help her search the house. And that's pretty much all we knew about him.
Christy Paulino lives next door to Monique. She says she didn't worry too much about the first run-in with the police, but at that time she had no idea what Brown was capable of.
It's kind of nerve-wracking. I didn't realize that he was capable of that.
Now 2 neighborhoods are left feeling uneasy, unsure of what could happen next. In Lee County, Fallon Silcox, Fox 4 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Justine Waldman.
I'm Patrick Nolan. Thanks for choosing Fox 4 in your corner. Cape Coral families on the slow road to recovery tonight after a tornado ripped through their neighborhood Sunday evening. Some houses are total goners. The city has condemned them. Our 4 in your corner team coverage begins with Fox 4's Taisha Fernandez. She is live in Cape Coral with the latest.
Patrick, this house is beyond repair. The city has already condemned it. Take a look. They red tagged it an unsafe building. Here's why. The roof is completely caved in. You can see the insulation. Most of the shingles have flown off. You can see the rafters. When your roof looks like this, your house is really unsafe. The frame is messed up. The structure is messed up. That's why the city will not let this family move back in. I talked to the family that owns the house behind this one. Their house was almost condemned. The only way they were able to save it is to have a contractor start working on it right away.
I thought it was just a hurricane when I heard the whole lanai being taken away.
The flying lanai was just the beginning. Ron and Nancy Darling didn't know if they were going to survive the twister once their roof flew off.
It sounded like a freight train was heading right for the wall about 4 to 6 feet away.
They say glass and dirt was flying through their entire house in a circular motion. That's how they knew it was a tornado. Nancy had to get stitches.
The glass started sticking out of my leg and I was in pools of blood. It was just spurting, so I lost a lot of blood.
Their neighborhood was hit the worst right off Skyline Boulevard. Down the street from the Darlings, we found this garage door buckled, so now it sits inside the garage. Wind speeds reached up to about 100 miles an hour. That's pretty hard to imagine if you weren't here, so check this out. A car that was sitting in this driveway was thrown all the way across the street, bounced off this silver car and landed right here. There it is, this black Mercedes, or what's left of it. The Darlings lost almost everything they own. It's all sitting in trash bags on their front lawn. But they're happy they made it out of this thing alive and still have each other.
The worst is cleaning up, and the saddest part is throwing away treasures and, inexpensive things, but things that have meaning a lot to you, pictures of children and grandchildren.
How long do you think it's going to take you to get your life back to the way it was here?
Well, months.
Yeah, they're figuring a couple of months anyway, or possibly 3 months, just to get the house restored.
And to make matters worse for that couple, they just redid their house last year, so they're really starting over by getting their house cleaned up, and getting it cleaned up is just the first step for them. Before they can move back in, they've got to get an inspector to come by and make sure all the electrical wiring is safe for them to move back in. Tonight we're live in Cape Coral. Taisha Fernandez, Fox 4 News.
A lot of steps ahead and one at a time. Thank you, Taisha, for that live report. The couple's insurance company is covering the damage, so that is good news and one less headache for that family.